Welcome to this historical journey. The election of a new pope, whether imminent or ongoing, reminds us of the profound weight of this thousand-year-old institution. However, the history of the papacy has not always been synonymous with sanctity. Today, we take you on a discovery of the 5 most controversial popes in history, marked by corruption, debauchery, and betrayal. Prepare to dive into a tumultuous past. Subscribe, and let's begin this journey. We start strong with Jean XII, the most unmanageable teenager in Vatican history. Elected pope at 18 years old in 955, this guy hadn't even finished his theology degree. At the time, Italy was a real geopolitical mess. The Papal States, the ancestor of the Vatican, were stuck in the middle, with Rome at their heart. But Jean? He couldn't care less about praying or saving souls. He was more focused on defending his territory against Berengar II, a lord who wanted to seize Rome. And to unwind, hunting, a bit of torture for the vibe, and above all, legendary orgies in the Lateran Palace, the official residence of popes back then. His contemporaries weren't joking around. They straight up called him the Antichrist. Not bad for an 18-year-old, right? Ultimately, Jean died at 27. How? 2 versions, either in the arms of his mistress or killed by a jealous husband. We're not sure, but his official portrait, hanging in the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls, shows an old bearded guy. Seriously, at 27, he looked like that. His death marked the end of a period called the Dark Century, about 60 years of corruption, violence, and, let's say, very loose morals. Historians even talk about pontifical pornocracy. Yes, that's a real term, and it sets the tone. And if you thought Jean XII was the worst, wait until you see the next one. Next up is Innocent VIII, who was anything but innocent. We're in the 15th century, and this pope was the king of not innocent at all. At a time when the church was supposed to champion chastity, he publicly acknowledged his children. Yes, you heard that right, a pope with kids. He even attended his son's wedding, in full papal attire, while the cardinals must have been biting their tongues in the sacristies. How many kids, you ask? Sources vary. Some say several, others go as high as 16. A poem from the time mocked him. The fisherman fathered 8 boys and as many girls, we can call him Father Pope. And his death? That's where it gets weird. Some say he received an experimental blood transfusion. This is 1492, when Columbus was discovering America, and he's playing guinea pig. Problem: the 3 kids who supposedly donated their blood died. First transfusion in history or urban legend? Historians are still arguing about it. In short, Innocent VIII redefined the concept of large family at the Vatican. But hold on, we're leveling up with a pope who preferred swords to prayers. Meet Julius II, the warrior pope, the kind of guy who'd put on armor instead of a mitre. We're in the early 16th century, in the middle of the Italian wars, a total geopolitical mess. Picture a map: duchies, republics, kingdoms. Milan is French, Naples is Spanish, and Venice? Oh, Julius hates Venice. He personally led military campaigns to take cities back from them. No turn the other cheek here. It's more like draw the catapult. Let's burn those heretics. He formed an alliance with France, the Holy Roman Empire, and Spain to hit Venice. Then, when France got too powerful, he flipped sides and allied with Venice, England, the Swiss, and more. This level of betrayal is pure art. The King of France, Louis XII, tried to depose him, but Julius countered with a council and stayed in power. And yet, he wasn't just a warrior. He's also the one who commissioned Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling. A pope who fights and creates masterpieces. But if you thought Julius II was twisted, wait until you meet the star of the Borgias. Alexander VI, aka Rodrigo Borgia, elected in 1492, the year Columbus discovered America, but who cares? Rodrigo turned the church into a family startup. His son Cesare, he commands an army. His daughter Lucrezia, married off to nobles to seal strategic alliances. Love, no time for that. We're following the business plan here. Buying votes at the conclave, XXL nepotism, rumors of hired murders, and even incest and papal orgies. The full package. But wait, the last pope will blow your mind. And we end with Benedict IX. Around 1032, at just 20 years old, he became pope thanks to his family's money. Yes, he bought the papacy, no big deal. But being pope, not his thing. Prayers, councils, nah. He'd rather party at the Lateran Palace with Jean XII. Naturally, he annoyed all of Rome and got kicked out. A certain Sylvester III took his place, but Benedict came back, ousted Sylvester, and became pope again. Then he wanted to get married, so he sold the papacy to a buddy, Gregory VI. Scandal. That's a big no-no. Gregory was forced to resign, and guess what? Benedict came back again, for a third term. Finally, Emperor Henry III had enough and called the Synod of Sutri in 1046 to boot everyone out. Benedict, Gregory, and even Sylvester, who was still lingering around. And there you have it, the 5 most scandalous popes in history. Corruption, orgies, betrayals. We're far from blessings and prayers. These stories, mostly from the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, show that even the Vatican had its very human moments. Thankfully, today's popes are a bit more Catholic. So, which pope shocked you the most? Tell us in the comments, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated. Would you like a part 2 on more recent popes? Take care, avoid selling thrones this week, and see you soon. Goodbye, Internet.